The beauty of the broken. Life is a strange kind of game. We spend our days trying to fix ourselves, as though we were born flawed, endlessly polishing the masks we wear before the world. Yet, if you truly look at the great souls who altered the course of history, the ones who really lived, you'll notice something unusual. Every one of them was cracked. Each carried wounds that never fully healed. But it wasn't in spite of those cracks that they became extraordinary. It was because of them. This idea runs completely against what we've been taught. We're told to hide our scars, to cover our pain, to pretend we've got it all figured out. Yet what if your very brokenness, the thing you've tried hardest to conceal, is the exact gift the universe needs from you? What if your flaws aren't defects but doorways? Now, let's be clear. When I say damaged, I'm not talking about those who are reckless or who use their suffering as an excuse. I'm speaking of the ones who have stood at the edge, who have stared into the dark corners of their own soul and returned trembling, yet awake. These people understand that they can't do this thing called life alone. They've seen too much to believe in self-sufficiency. The universe doesn't choose the proud, the self-made, or the invincible. It calls those with cracks because only through those cracks can the light pour in. Think of water. It cannot enter a sealed vessel. Only when there's a fracture can it seep through, fill the emptiness, and bring life. Grace works the same way. Power moves through the openings, not around them. Being damaged doesn't mean being destroyed. A chipped cup can still hold water. A cracked window can still catch the sunlight and scatter it into colors. Sometimes the flaw is what makes it beautiful. Look at Moses, a man said to have stammered, barely able to speak. Yet he became the voice of God to his people. Why? Because he knew he couldn't do it alone. His weakness became the vessel for divine strength. Or David, the overlooked shepherd boy, too small, too young, too insignificant. And yet it was he, the forgotten one, who became king. Even crowned, he never forgot his humility. The pattern repeats throughout time. Paul, once a persecutor, became the greatest messenger of grace. It was his own guilt, his awareness of the darkness within him, that made him such a powerful teacher. He understood redemption because he had lived its need. Here's the truth about being broken. You lose the illusion of control. You realize you were never running the show. Most people live believing they can plan, strive, and perfect their way to safety. The broken know better. They've watched the ground crumble beneath their feet. And in that terrifying freefall, they learn to trust the hands that caught them. That's why the universe chooses the damaged, not because they're weak, but because they've surrendered. They've learned to float instead of fight. When you try to swim with tense muscles, you sink. But when you relax, the water holds you. Life works the same way. Damage isn't the event itself. Not the loss, the failure, the addiction, or the betrayal. Damage is what happens inside you when you finally admit you've changed. When you realize there's no going back. That acceptance creates the crack through which transformation begins. Most people waste years trying to return to normal. But the broken understand. The old self is gone. In its place, something new begins to grow. This isn't recovery, it's rebirth. Those who have never been broken often snap the easiest. They're rigid, untested. But those who have weathered storms bend and sway with life's winds. They've become flexible, like old wood that has learned to yield rather than resist. When you accept your wounds, you gain humility. You stop pretending to be the center of the story. You realize you're part of something vast and mysterious. This isn't depressing, it's freeing. You no longer need to control every outcome. You simply do your part and let life unfold. The proud man fights endlessly, against people, fate, and even himself. The humbled one learns to move with the current. This isn't defeat, it's alignment. The damaged person has discovered a deeper kind of strength, the power of yielding. And through that yielding comes compassion. True compassion. The kind that doesn't pity but understands. Because once you've been shattered, you recognize the pain in others. You don't judge them. You simply see them as fellow travelers, cracked and luminous, carrying light through their broken places. The universe chooses the broken. There are moments when trying harder isn't the answer. Sometimes the real strength lies in stopping, letting go, and allowing life to move through you. Those who've faced darkness understand this truth. Their pain gives them empathy that comfort never could. But before we go deeper, let's be clear about one thing. Damage is not an excuse. It's not permission to give up, to sink into self-pity, or to lash out at the world. If your wounds have made you cruel or bitter, then you've missed the point. Pain is meant to open you, not poison you. There's a world of difference between the person the universe can work through and the one it cannot. One looks at their scars and cries, "Why me? Life isn't fair." The other looks at the same scars and asks, "What is this teaching me? How is this shaping me into something greater?" Both are broken, but only one is becoming wise. There's a story I love. A man visits a wise teacher and says, "Master, I'm anxious, depressed, addicted, a failure in every way. How can I possibly be of value?" The teacher smiles and replies, "You've just listed your qualifications." The man looks confused, so the teacher explains, "Your anxiety taught you that control is an illusion. Your sadness showed you that joy cannot be forced. Your addictions revealed your need for connection. Your failures gave you humility. These aren't disqualifications, they're your credentials." That's what it means when we say the universe chooses damaged people. It's not searching for perfection. It's seeking those who've been cracked open, those who've been hollowed out enough for something greater to flow through. Think of a seed. It must break open before it can grow. The seed that refuses to crack never becomes a tree. And what rises from that brokenness isn't the old version of you repaired. It's something entirely new. The person who finally emerges was always inside, waiting for the walls to fall away. Look at history. The people who changed the world were never the ones who had it easy. They were the ones who stumbled, who failed, who got up one more time than they fell. Struggle teaches what comfort never will. It shows you your strength. It proves you can survive what you once thought would destroy you. And once you've learned that, truly learned it, you become fearless. Not because fear disappears, but because you know it can't control you anymore. You've already lived through your worst day and survived. You're still standing. That's the quiet power of the broken. They no longer need to pretend. They live honestly, love deeply, and take bold risks, because they've learned that holding back never really kept them safe. Now think about this. Who would you rather learn from? Someone who's never failed, never lost, never suffered? Or someone who's been to the edge and clawed their way back? The first can talk about success. The second can talk about life. The universe doesn't choose perfect people, it chooses real ones. People refined by fire. People who've had the unnecessary burned away until only the truth remains. And when you finally stop hiding your damage, when you stop trying to fix, mask, or deny it, something incredible happens. Others see it. They see themselves in your story. Your wounds become a bridge that connects their loneliness to your honesty. That's how healing begins, not through pretending to be whole, but through admitting that you're broken too. When you reveal your cracks, you give others permission to reveal theirs. Vulnerability becomes connection. Connection becomes strength. So no, your brokenness isn't a flaw. It's the space through which light enters. It's what makes you human, what makes you useful. If you've been thinking, "I'm too damaged. I've made too many mistakes. I can't be of any use," hear me now. You are exactly who the universe is looking for. Your pain is your power. Your scars are your story. Your wounds are proof that you have lived, fought, fallen, and risen again. The universe doesn't need more polished people, it needs more real ones. Not those who look strong, but those who have found strength in their weakness. Because true power is born not in spite of pain, but through it. The very thing you believe disqualifies you is the reason you're qualified. The crack in your heart isn't shame. It's an opening. And through that opening, grace flows. So stop trying to appear perfect. Stop fighting your flaws. Be honest about your damage. Ask for help. Let yourself be seen. Because in that moment of raw honesty, you'll realize something beautiful. You were never alone. You've been chosen, not despite your brokenness, but because of it. The best vessels are the ones that have been shattered and rebuilt. They let the light shine through their cracks, and the light is brighter because of them. So be broken. Be real. Be open. Let the light pass through you. Because you were never meant to be perfect, you were meant to be true.